The first year you went to Burning Man, did you build something that year or no?
The first year I went, I was kind of coerced. You have to be coerced. At least in the old days, you had to be coerced because like you don't really know what it's like. There's no videos that you have like a couple's like film photos. You're like, I just thought
it was sex and drugs and just all kinds of debauchery out there.
It sounds terrible.
Tosh Show. Tosh Show. Tosh Show for show. Welcome to Tosh Show. How are my Toshicles doing? Yeah. Why don't you hit me with some of that Selling Sunset free library hip-hop club music? Oh, yeah. I love it. I love that show. The music and the B-roll and then the wardrobe. It's kind of like this show. You look at this outfit and you're like, oh, okay, I couldn't wear that. But somehow, when I see it on an A-list star, it looks amazing. How you doing, Eddie?
Doing good. How are you?
You care about your wardrobe?
Nope.
Oh, that's a shame. That's a shame, Eddie. It's really a great way to express yourself if you have tons of extra money. Hey, I heard, Eddie, that last week's guest really lit up the comment boards.
Oh, so got some really strong opinions about Jacqueline.
People were just dying to let me know what they thought of Jacqueline, the billionaire travel agent. Well, she's not a billionaire, but she's a travel agent for billionaires, allegedly. What'd they have to say? Let's hear them, Ed.
That was absolutely fascinating and horrific at the same time.
Exactly. You know, people that I find interesting on the show, they don't have to be likable. I'm not saying that this was the case, but I still find them interesting.
She might be one of the most despicable people I've listened to. I loved every second of it.
Be sure to like and subscribe.
Having this lady on definitely makes him look more in touch by comparison.
And for the record, I am 1,000 times richer than she is.
I listened to the audio version first and came here to see what she looks like. She looks exactly how she sounds.
I want to thank you for streaming us on 2 platforms. That money will go right back into the show after everyone takes their cut.
She's like a copy of Elizabeth Holmes.
Yeah, if Elizabeth Holmes and Ghislaine Maxwell had a baby. Oh.
Really down-to-earth chick, very natural as well. I forgot humble. If there's a heaven, she's in definitely.
Salt of the earth. Salt of the earth. Well said, commenter.
Broad saved herself when she said she almost always shits herself.
No matter what our political or economic differences are, we all have one thing in common. Everyone poops themselves occasionally, yearly.
Best part of waking up is Folgers in your butt.
Is Folgers a sponsor? Folgers? You want to do the right thing?
I love Korea. I go for the facials and shopping, so North Korea would be incredible. Yep, that's how that works.
Maybe she was joking. I don't know. She likes North Korea. She loves China. And she loves Russia. There's a pattern.
She's still kind of hot.
I kind of agree. That's the type of woman I would end up having an affair with.
Glad I stayed for the free plug at least. That was hilarious.
But what's not hilarious is bullying. Bullying. I just hope this enthusiasm carries over to this week's guest. Which, by the way, if you're wondering why I'm dressed so fly, it's because we're about to head over to the playa. Enjoy. Tosh Show. My guest today enjoys roughing it in the desert every year while installing beautiful, massive, but temporary art installations that I personally will never see because spending a week in the middle of nowhere without AC and running water sounds like my idea of hell. But you do you. Please welcome back to the grid, Burner Jesse.
How you doing?
I'm well. All right, Jesse, let's get going. Do you believe in ghosts?
I knew this question was coming, and still it hits me. The answer is going to be no.
Okay.
But only because I'm thinking of like the Alec Baldwin, Gina Davis version, like bed sheets. Yeah, if that reference is hitting you or not.
Yeah.
But that version's no, but I think there's some like spiritual something going on.
So I'm going to put you down for you believe in ghosts.
We'll see.
You're from Miami.
Beach.
Talk about the cocaine.
So I was there during the Miami Vice era, I will say that, but I was a kid and wasn't super privy to it. Our house was actually scouted as a potential shoot location for Miami Vice. So that gives you a sense of when I was there with the cigarette boats and the
And
stuff
it gives
going
me
on.
a sense of the decor.
Yeah, it's changed quite a bit. Now it's fake Italy. It was like neon and that sort of thing.
Do you enjoy going back to Florida?
It's not my place.
No.
No, I got the fuck out of there as soon as I could. And especially growing up, it was like people retiring there and I liked the piece of it. But then when I was in high school, it became like clubbing, modeling, that whole thing. And I was like, this is a little much for me.
Did you partake in drugs back then?
Not then.
No?
I was like 16. No, I wasn't.
You
I
weren't
was
a
about to
bad
say I
kid.
wasn't cool, but that would imply that doing the drugs was cool.
Well, I understand what
But
what
I
you
wasn't
mean.
part of that crowd. I was like a nerd. And then I found a place where it was like more cool to be a nerd, which is a little bit like California. And
That should be on our billboards to stop the
come
mass
here,
exodus.
it's cool to be a nerd. Yeah.
It's cool to be a nerd in California. You went to Tufts University in Boston, and then you got your master's at Stanford. Just a huge overachiever. By the way, the third person on this show to have gone to Stanford. I'm just pointing that out to our listeners that we get very smart people on this show. Did you enjoy Boston?
It's an interesting place to go to school. Lots of people your age. Boston during the 90s, though, like nothing good to eat. The weather sucks. Like I was coming from Miami, so it's snowing. Everything's like kind of a drag. The thing I got out of it mainly, though, was I was in a singing group. Again, not cool, but a singing group. So every weekend we get in a van and go somewhere to go sing.
What
so
kind of singing?
a cappella.
I love it.
I know. Whatever. So,
love it.
every weekend. So we go to like North Carolina, we go to Michigan, we go to California. We're literally just like all over the place. So I spent something like 4 weekends a year at Tufts, and all the rest of it was at another school. And at some point, we went to San Francisco, and I was like, "Oh, this is where the people that were nerds that like made something happen went." So that's where I ended up.
Did you ever watch that reality show about the a cappella groups?
Yeah.
It was really
Sing Off.
Was that it? I might
One
be,
of them.
and it was
I'm not
hosted by
plugging
one of
this.
the Boys to Men guys.
You know the weird thing? I don't like a cappella.
Oh,
Well, usually everybody's like, "Oh, but how dare you? You want people to come to your concerts?" So I was like, "Yeah, that's cool. I like singing, but like, I don't. If they want to listen, that's on them."
what about noises? Do you do the noises, or did you
I
just sing?
I do the mouth noises, the face sounds.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, there's no, you need like a drum, so you're the drum.
I know, but I didn't know. Usually there was like one guy in there that wasn't the best singer that would do that
Well,
stuff.
maybe that's
was that
probably
you?
me.
I don't believe it. Do you miss the Bay Area?
A little bit. I miss the food and I miss the like. It was like a weird place when I moved there, which I like, and then it became all. And again, I am aware that I'm the tech community, part of the tech community, but it became all that. Like all the art moved to Oakland, and then all the art moved out of Oakland to God knows where, and like that part I don't love.
As an engineer, do you find way more than almost everyone that you're dealing with?
No. However, I think I know different things. I see the world in a different way, right? I look at things and I'm like, this microphone thing is like sagging. They couldn't have designed it that way. Is the mic too heavy, or did they like design it before they anodized it? And then after they anodized it, there wasn't as much friction between these two things. So now it's falling and it was too late to fix it. So that's what I think about.
That
So
that might be the answer. I always feel like when I watch people build stuff, I'm like, I could do that better. But
And sometimes
I
you can't.
I have to like see someone else do it. I don't have the ability to.
So I think I know different things, right? Like I notice things, not people, most of the time, like 90% of the time, which can be a problem.
All right. Explain your engineering background and what exactly some of your jobs entailed. To the best of your ability, I know you have a ton of NDAs that force us to not talk about some of the jobs that you took.
So I'm like a soft engineer. So like my undergrad was half engineering and half psychology. So the whole point being like, you can make a thing, but let's actually pay attention to the person that's going to use it.
Mm-hmm.
So I was a recording engineer for a bit at the plant. It used to be the record plant in Sausalito, because I thought that was a really cool way to combine like engineering and emotion. Then I became an application developer. I was coding basically. I went to grad school for product design so I could design food.
How long did you design food?
2.5 years.
Talk about the chicken pot pie.
Oh, Council Bluffs, where they make them. I've been in many of the factories where they make peanut butter and chicken pot pies and frozen meals and stuff. And it's some of the cool things you see actually are when the food is real food. You're just making a million of them at a time on a huge sheet roller with a big like sheet of dough. But a lot of these things are made the way you would make it at home, except, they have to make it to a price point.
But what's your job? What did you create?
They basically come to you and say, in some cases, we're kind of out of ideas. We've been making this stuff for 3 years, 5 years, 30 years.
Okay.
And we can't make this wacko thing because no one who buys this product line will eat that wacko thing.
Gotcha.
What do we do now? Or they could say, this is the one moment of enjoyment the person who's going to eat this is going to have that week. It's literally a treat for them, right? They'll open up that chicken pot pie or that thing, and it's like they'll literally sit there and like that's the home cooked meal they get. And I know it feels a little sad, but for a lot of people, like that's their moment of comfort. So they might say to me, how can we make this thing like more comforting, more enjoyable, make it more of a moment for this person?
The chicken pot pie. I've every time I've had a chicken pot pie, I'll be honest with you, I'm probably in a sad state. And then
I had no idea where you were going with that, the chicken pot pie, because I love chicken pot pie.
My favorite birthday meal is at the old place. I don't know if you've ever been to this place, but it's a wonderful restaurant if you like steak. But they also do a chicken pot pie there, and they throw tons of mashed potatoes on top of it. And it is just
it's like
heavenly.
a shepherd's pie, chicken pot pie
It is.
thing.
It's a chicken pot pie, but there's just a heaping helping of mashed potatoes on top. I just love it. You designed U.S. currency at one point.
No, I didn't. I worked at a branding firm that helped redesign that currency.
All right, that avoids my question. I want to know how quick you could create counterfeit money.
No, don't know.
What's your favorite thing that you've ever designed?
So I worked at a company that makes vaporizers. I worked at PAX. It's a cannabis brand. So I was in charge of product there. So I developed and launched a few of their vaporizers, which were pretty cool. Because our thing is, and forget about the brand, but like the thing is, I want to work on products that people love and covet and feel good about. I don't want to work on stuff that's just like they throw
vape
away.
Pens is
it is if it's the right one, right? Like it's not going to melt or blow up in your hand. It's like not going to leach stuff. It's made with care. You'd put it on your.
But the kids,
well, it's not for them.
I always confused Burning Man with Joshua Tree. That's weird. I never knew that Burning Man where it was. It's north of Reno, 100 miles.
Yeah.
100 miles northeast. Yes.
Yeah.
And it's always during. What?
It ends on Labor Day, so it's always at the end of August, beginning of September, always.
First week of college football, genius.
School's just getting started. It's a bad time for a lot of people.
And
none of it's practical, so it may as well be then, right? Like pick the least practical week.
When was
the least practical place?
What year was the first year you went?
2006.
Did you know about it when you, like, as a kid in Florida or no?
No, not as a kid. No.
Okay.
I mean, it's a long time ago, right? So, like, YouTube hadn't been a thing. Like, it's social media. If you go before social media, a lot of people don't really know about Burning Man unless you're in San Francisco or around there. So I'd heard about it for a few years and I was like, this is not for me. Like drugs, no thanks. Crowds, no thanks. I don't particularly like camping. Like almost all the things about it, if you put it in a bullet list, I'm like, that's not for me.
Who owns Burning Man?
It's like a full-on company.
Oh. I thought it was
I know, there's all disappointing answers.
I just wanted one dude.
There's a magical wizard who lives in the desert.
Is it nonprofit?
It's complicated. I think part of it is and part of it isn't. They have a whole thing about that.
I mean, is there somebody overseeing this shit show?
No, it's a whole company of like 50 people or something, like full time. And it's so much work that they start planning the next one before the current one is done. Like literally the second Burning Man, the man burns, they've already posted the theme for next year is this. And like, because they already had to start planning it. It takes more than a year to plan Burning Man. And it's a huge art grant organization. They give out $1 million and change in grants every year. It's like a lot of medical facilities and security. And like, they have to pay the government a lot of money for the land.
The first year you went to Burning Man, did you build something that year or no?
The first year I went, I was kind of coerced. You have to be coerced. At least in the old days, you had to be coerced because like you don't really know what it's like. There's no videos that you have like a couple's like film photos. You're like, I just
saw sex and drugs and just all kinds of debauchery.
I know,
out there.
It sounds terrible.
Well, okay, that sounds good, but it's also the other things.
I found a picture actually in some magazine or whatever where it was the first Burning Man. It was like 83 or 84. I was not there. And it's literally like 7 people with like a man they're screwing together out of some 2x4s. Like it literally looks like if you went with your friends and had like a not great tailgating party on the beach in San Francisco and you're like, it's Burning Man. But 28 or whatever it is years later, now it's a big event. So there's a lot of controversy and like it's supposed to be countercultural, all of that, but you have to buy a ticket.
How much is the ticket?
It's more and more every year. I think it's almost $500.
And how long does that ticket last?
The event is a week. So if you buy it and you're not building anything, you're allowed in on Saturday night and you have to leave by like Monday. So it's essentially a week.
But when you're building, you get to go a week earlier.
So the people who are building a big camp or art can show up during build week. So that's a week early because obviously if you're going to show up for the event, like you can't just say, now you can start putting your stuff together. Like nothing would be done, right? Like you need to give people a head start of a week to assemble their camps that can house 100 people or big art. If you're building the temple, which is the biggest art project there, they might get there 3-4 weeks in advance.
Have you ever built the temple?
No.
And
we
what
were
it-
invited to submit a design for it, but we never built it.
And what is the temple?
At Burning Man, there's the biggest art project really is the temple, and it's always at a specific place on the playa, on the clock. It's a really ornate, non-denominational kind of spiritual place, and it's genuinely really emotional to go in because the cultural norm is everyone writes messages about people they've lost in the past year, regrets they have. They put pictures up of people that have died, and by the end of the week, every square inch of this enormous building is covered in writing and pictures and memorabilia and stuff. It's really like, I don't feel anything when I go into most like religious spaces and spiritual spaces. And that place, the temple, every year, you really feel something.
And they have to tear it down at the end?
No, they burn that thing to the ground.
Everything burns to the ground?
The man burns on Saturday, the temple burns on Sunday. And it's a very like somber, like people sit and they're crying because they're letting it be a cathartic
I know why
thing.
they're crying.
Well, I usually leave before all that anyway. My thing is,
do you?
Oh yeah. Like,
You don't even stick around and watch people enjoy your art?
oh no, I do, but I leave before. My favorite part is build week. I just want to be there and work. Like, I like heavy equipment. I want to like operate stuff.
You pre-build all year? Or
Yeah, it might take like 9-10 months to make the thing. And maybe we partially set it up if we can. We built something that was so big, this big sphere that in retrospect looked exactly like COVID. But we built it 2 years before COVID.
Oh, so you started COVID.
We started COVID.
That's cool.
Breaking news right here.
Were you always artistic, though?
That word could have been one of two very close words.
You can answer either.
Yeah. My mom's an art teacher.
Okay.
So we'll go with that one.
Do you get paid for creating your art there?
You can get a grant, so in that sense, yes, but generally no. So at Burning Man in a given year, I mean, I don't work for Burning Man. My understanding is there's like 500-600 art pieces that go every year.
Okay.
Out of that, maybe 70 of them got an art grant. And so you can apply for an art grant. You can be like, I want to build this thing and I want to take it to Burning Man and it's going to cost me 10 grand to make it. And the most you'll ever get is 30-40% of the cost. And so you put in the rest, you do a Kickstarter or whatever.
If I were to ask you, gun to your head, how much you've spent on Burning Man in your lifetime for all your art projects and everything, you have any idea where you're at?
Well, the art projects are net positive, so
They're all positive.
Well, at this point they are. See, that's the beauty. Like, you put in a little of your money, you get an art grant, you do a fundraiser, and then you're still a little in debt, right? But our thing, the whole goal, the hope for most people is you do it, you show your art, you impact whatever impact you wanted, and then ideally you sell it or show it somewhere. And I think it's like a little bit of a dream for a lot of people because it's like you have this dusty thing, now what? But we've gotten really lucky that we've put our things in museums. They've been in the Smithsonian. They were in Dubai. They were in Hong Kong. Like, they've been all over the world. And
what percentage of yours are they pre-sold?
No.
Now?
No one knows it. We put them at Burning Man. No one knows it.
But I mean, you have a reputation at this point.
A little bit.
So now are they like, hey, we want first dibs? Do you have a preference of where it goes?
We don't have
where
that.
it
I think they need to
travels?
see it first because our stuff is really specific. And so, like, we built these mushrooms for Burning Man called Shroom and Lumen. And
Are those ones that's like
they kind of change shape? Yeah.
Oh man, that's
they're all
impressive.
hand folded. It's origami.
It's beautiful.
Thank you. And
It's just
those
beautiful.
are most. We had a big debate in the team because we just started with a Post-it, like a little sketch. We're like, let's make this. And then we made a little hand model, and it's like literally just like a paper thing. And we're like, yeah, we'll build this. I came up with the name Shroom and Lumen, and then a couple people in our group were like, we can't make these because everyone will think it's just a drug reference.
Yes,
Like,
it
no
is.
one will.
Oh, it's not.
Well, I mean, it's art, right? It is whatever you want it to be. But
Okay, but
they were like, we
mushrooms
literally
out
will
in the
never
middle of
sell it.
Burning
I
Man.
know. We'll never sell it. We'll never show it. Like, we're screwed if we build these things. And a couple people thought, oh, that's not true. And then a couple of us were like, no, you're probably right, but let's build it anyway. There's something so delightful about them. And you can see a picture and they look really like kind of cute and whatever. But you watch them and genuinely old people and young people alike, like little toddlers will walk up to it and they're just like amazed by the scale of it. And that's why everything we make, the scale is really.
How many were there?
We've only ever made 5. 3 of them we sold to a museum last year. And then 2 of them are at the New York Botanical Garden right now.
What's the tallest mushroom?
14, 16 feet, something
And
like
what's
that.
the actual origami material?
It's corrugated polypropylene, so it's the same thing they make those mail carrier boxes out of. So it's like corrugated cardboard, but it's plastic, and we don't love that it's plastic, but the plastic sheds light in a really interesting way, and it's a living hinge, so it can fold over and over and over again. And we spend a gazillion hours basically welding the sheets together because there is no sheet big enough to make those mushrooms out of. So each head of the mushroom is something like a 40-foot by 25-foot sheet. So we have to weld the plastic together, which I didn't know was a thing. We all had to learn how to plastic weld.
How do you plastic weld?
It's like a heat gun with a filler thing, and you literally sit there and like melt the plastic at a very specific rate.
You talking about a hot glue gun?
It's like a hot glue gun, except it puts out air too.
Okay.
And then we fold it. We weld it into a loop, and then we fold it. And it takes like 12, 14 people to fold it. And that's one mushroom head.
Where did you do all this folding?
A lot of this we did at a company we used to work for. They had a shop we were allowed to use, on weekends and evenings and stuff. But we then had a workshop in San Francisco for a few years. So I bought a forklift, which is like a weird thing to just be like, how do you even choose? It's like, you're like, how did my life end up being that I'm buying a forklift?
What brand did you go with?
It was a Yale.
Yale.
Yeah.
Yale. I don't know if you're a sponsor of this podcast or not, but
Yale forklifts.
Oh man.
Yeah, and then we got rid of the workshop, but and I think in the future we'll probably build stuff in my own workshop, but it takes a lot of space.
There's no electricity there, is there?
No, there's a lot of generators, so there's
Right.
electricity there, but there's no like.
There's no grid.
Oh no, you're in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like really nowhere.
And so how's this heavy machinery? Who's bringing this in?
Burning Man. There's a square block of nothing but cranes, telehandlers, scissor lifts, like to help erect all the art.
And you can just be like, hey, I need that?
More or less. You're assigned, if you have an art piece that you've registered, you are assigned a person that helps you that's from ASS, Art Support Services. Everything at Burning Man has like a...
I can't handle it.
And they can request equipment from HEAT, which is heavy equipment and transportation, and be like, oh, I need a crane because I need a lift to happen. And the lift is whatever. You tell them it's 3,000 pounds. We're going to lift from here. We're going to do that. And then they schedule it over their radios. Then they come by and do it for you.
Do you ever build anything out there and it didn't work? Because yours has a lot of moving parts.
Yeah, shockingly. This is not...
It's not wood.
No.
You're fucked.
So we've had things that didn't work like as well as we hoped, but shockingly they work pretty well. And that big 4.5-story COVID thing, like we never assembled that before we got to Burning Man, because the thing is like, it's 4.5 stories tall. We need a crane. It takes a whole week to assemble it. Like we assembled a tiny little section of it. And then we just got out there with cranes and telehandlers and just like...
And who are these knuckleheads that are shirtless with hard hats that volunteer to help?
It's our friends.
But you have like real crews of like 60 people. Are you always the idea man?
Yeah, it's me and my main art partner in all this. His name is Jörg Student. He's a German engineer. Also, we met at this design company. We worked together for years on it. And now we just make art together. And a lot of the concepts come from him. He's like the origami guy. I think I'm more the builder of the two of us because I just like... I know most people say like tools are like a means to an end. They just learn how to use the tool so they can manifest their vision. I'm kind of the opposite. I just want to use tools. I like using CNCs and milling machines and 3D printers. And I like using heavy equipment. Having a project to build is just an excuse to get to use that stuff. That's what I like. If I get to go into the desert and use some telehandlers and big stuff and be in the air and like putting stuff together, like that's really fun for me.
Are you ever harnessed in doing
yeah.
crazy
They
weld?
make you now.
Oh.
In the old days, they didn't. He was watching.
Uh-huh.
But now they actually will come around and like blow a whistle and be like, put on a harness. And luckily we know these days, so we bring harnesses. But
are there like, this structure's not up to code?
More now than there was before, but it's kind of a bizarre interpretation. So a few years ago, there was I'm going to forget the name of the real piece, but it was basically a shish kebab of cars, of like 10 cars on a big spike. So it was like 60 feet tall.
Okay.
Just car, all the way up. And each one was appointed differently. It had like AstroTurf and whatever. And you could literally climb all the way up.
You are encouraged to climb it?
Well, that's the thing. It's Burning Man. If it doesn't say not to climb it, people say like, oh, they're encouraging me to climb it, right? That's the default. But people are drunk and they're something else and they're climbing it and it's slippery because it's covered in dust. And my understanding, they had to shut it down and put a rope around it and be like, you can't climb this because someone fell, not because they climbed something they shouldn't have, but because one of the cars actually started to split. And so my point is, if it looks dangerous and it is dangerous, they're kind of okay with that because it's your call. Like that thing looked dangerous. If you want to climb it, it's on you.
Okay.
They're not okay with stuff that looks safe and is dangerous. Like if it looks really stable and there's a staircase and all that, but the staircase is going to fall apart, the whole thing's going to flip over, like that they have a problem
Now
with.
we have to have proper railings, all
right.
Now, who do you identify the most with, tech bros or the hippies? Where do you fall?
I'm like a weird one, right? Because like I work in tech, somewhat like semi-begrudgingly. And
you
then,
own a vest?
I own a vest. Although It used to be like the stereotypical like Patagonia, tech vest, and now it's like an actual work vest because I'm out building stuff and has like pockets for like construction pencils and stuff. So at least I feel good about that.
So that's it for you. Right now, you are just an artist.
No, I have a job.
You do?
I know. It's really disappointing.
I felt like that was, because 9 months of prep work.
We only do it every few years. It takes a lot of.
Oh, you don't do it every year?
No.
Are you sad when you go and you you don't have an installation?
I'm sad when I go sometimes anyway.
Well, I'm just, in general, when you go and you don't have a project that you're building.
Yeah, it feels weird not to contribute, which is again, this sounds a little like, people to feel the guilt, but Burning Man only works if people like do something, right? If like Burning Man's not making the art, they're not doing any of that. So if people just show up and they just bring a tent and they're just like, entertain me, show me art, and everyone does that, there's literally nothing there. There's just the man and a bunch of porta potties and some street signs. Like, that's it. So it only works because people are like, yeah, I want to make a thing and put it there. I want to make an art car. I want to make a camp and play some music. Like, everybody does their own wacko thing. And so if I go and I'm joining a camp, like, yeah, we have some offering or something, I feel good about if it's like a big enough offering. But yeah, I feel a little guilty if I'm not like have like a big art thing.
It really is like church, where there's people that do a lot and go above and beyond and are going to get into heaven, and then there's people that when the offering plate comes by, they just pretend that they put something in it and keep it going.
But it's cheesy, but it is a city. It's the third largest city in Nevada for that week.
Is there a mayor?
No.
Wait, in which way does that city normally vote? If I were to guess,
well, that's I think you know which way.
Bunch of conservatives?
Yeah, probably not so much. But there are people from all over the world too, so there's quite an international crowd there. And I mean, look, it makes it sound like I'm selling it. I'm not selling it. It's not for everybody. There's a lot of crap involved in it too.
Where do you sleep when you're there?
A tent most of the time. I've never done an RV. A tent most of the time. But then at some point we were making big art. We had these big trucks with us every time because you got to bring a bunch of your stuff. You got to bring the art. And at some point I was like, oh, we have a truck. Why isn't someone sleeping in the truck? And so for maybe 5 years, I would rent a truck and then spend a day ahead of time just framing it out. I would just get some framing lumber and build like an apartment in it because it's faster to do that and cheaper than to rent an RV.
You get an AC unit?
I have like an evaporative cooler and some solar panels and like a whole thing.
Okay.
This past year I did a tent though. Like it's kind of the OG. Like,
you sleep well in a tent?
You're tired enough from everything that you sleep pretty well.
What about porta potties? You have no issue using a porta potty as a grown man?
I'd almost argue as a grown man, you should be able to be like, okay, I can go to the bathroom in a porta potty. I feel a little worse for like women who have to get, it's like a lot, it's more complicated and they generally have to sit.
I like to sit when I pee.
Part. Okay, me too.
Now I can't.
Yeah, you probably opt not to if you had.
I do like the porta potty that has a tiny little urinal on the side.
Oh, a lot of them do. Yeah,
that's kind of a nice little feature.
Yeah,
because I can usually do that with my son. He can use the main one. Then I like look over and like, oh God, no! He's got like his hands inside.
Oh no, he's like racing.
Up. Yeah, that's bad.
No, it's not good. They're generally pretty good at the beginning of the week or during build week, and then as Burning Man goes on, they are like in worse and worse condition.
I have a few small toilets that I travel with. It's nice. Put that in your tent.
Let's think through what my tent smells like with a bathroom.
This thing's nice. This one's nice. It's got
It's like a composting one, or like
no,
it's just a bag.
No, you put a bag of one of those chemical pills in it that can handle a porta potty. It's only handling 5 gallons.
Some people bring like a gel thing that like private pilots use because if you're flying a plane, like a small plane by yourself, there's no bathroom, so they have like these things that you can pee in that are like turned into a gel immediately, and then you can just like huck it in the back or whatever you do.
I didn't know this.
It's good.
I got to get a couple of these gel packs.
Yeah. Hospital wipes are my like that's the thing I found in year 2. They're like baby wipes, like wet wipes, but they're really thick because they're designed for like wiping down full people. So like hospital wipes, just bring a bunch of those. It's great.
Oh, you just use it as a bath?
It's like it's a bath.
Your girlfriend, does she go?
Yeah. She's only been once with me, but
she's been before?
No, that was
it.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm good.
No, she loved it.
Thank you for showing it to me.
It inspired her to start making art again.
Oh. Are people stealing bicycles?
Yeah.
They are?
Yeah, these are easy questions. Yeah.
I just see everybody walking around with bicycles. I'm like, somebody's got to just go there and clean up. What are you eating out there all day? Are people cooking? Are there restaurants?
Yeah, there are a lot of camps that they're offering as food. They have like waffles and chicken for breakfast, or they have like whatever. That's a lot of the offerings are food.
There's nobody grilling out?
No, there's people grilling.
No,
I had a friend who brought a whole smoker. He smoked like a whole like roast thing. Like it's that people do crazy stuff. There's a bunch of fishermen that used to come and they bring a whole refrigerator, like freezer truck with their catch. And literally every night they would just make a whole thing for like 50 people. And whichever 50 people showed up, that's their offering.
And do you have to pay, or they're not allowed to charge you?
You can't pay any, like if you go to a camp and they're offering us food, then they're just going to give you food. That's what they're contributing. Joining a camp generally costs money because they have to rent trucks and set up shade and it's whole production.
What would they do to me if I brought a carnival?
A carnival?
Like actual rides?
I think you could, as long as you don't have to pay for it, people
Right,
would love
no,
it.
no.
People would love it.
I think I should bring a carnival.
Bring a carnival.
Because who doesn't like a carnival? They truck them in, set up some rides.
Bring it.
They would love. Who wouldn't love that? What about the games too? They'd love
they'd
games.
get wrecked, but bring it.
Oh yeah, they would do awful things. So you can't trust these kids. That's the problem.
Well, and the wind and the dust and the rain.
Well, enough about the dust. How is that? It's horrible.
No, this year was great. It was almost no dust, but it's pretty bad most of the time.
Do you walk around in a mask?
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah.
Goggles, the whole thing.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's just stupid.
Yeah, it's not just fashion. It actually there's a reason.
Have you been to other festivals?
I'm not a festival person.
Have you been to them though? Have you been to whatchamacallit, Coachella?
I live really close to Coachella. I've never been to Coachella.
Uh-huh.
It's too many people.
Is Burning Man about music too, or no?
A little bit,
Do
but
people
it's just
perform?
a city. Yeah, I mean, there are more like DJs and things like that.
And
not like
now,
live.
from Miami, is that your roots? Do you still like club music? Can you handle it without wanting to throw up?
The only place I like it is Burning Man.
Does any huge acts ever come in and just like, I'm going to perform now?
Only of the specific type, right? There's like Tycho and Rufus Del Sol, and like there's things like that. There's not like generally live performers.
I don't know why somebody hasn't done. Like, why hasn't Taylor Swift been like, you know what? Watch this. I'm going to go into Burning Man with like 4 semis, set up my stuff, and just do a free show here. And people that would think that they wouldn't like it are like, you know what? We got.
I would be very curious to see what would happen because it's a non-commodified event, and so they'd be like, "But she's a brand, and she's bringing her brand." Yeah, I don't know.
I would love to see it.
Yeah,
come on, Taylor. Do it.
In theory, no one can pay her to do it. That's part of the rules. But yeah, she needs it.
No, she doesn't need it. You're building a tiny home in Joshua Tree by yourself.
Did the framing. Girlfriend's helping with the sheathing. We did the underground conduit. So I'm doing a lot of it.
Okay. Is it off the grid?
Yeah, it's off the grid.
Is it permitted?
Oh, yeah. It's legit.
Do you have the city inspectors coming out?
Oh, yeah.
Do they infuriate you with, how dumb some of them are?
If they watch this, my job is really hard for the next years.
Okay, let me rephrase
They're
it.
amazing people just doing a job and they all do it.
I built from scratch. And I did Coastal Commission for 4 years.
Yeah.
And just the nonsense that they make, the hoops that they make you jump through.
But I have to say the cool thing, everybody makes fun of California and for rightful reasons. But you actually can do all the work yourself and it can be permitted. They actually let you do it. You can do gas lines, you can do all your electrical, you can do framing, you can do all of it yourself and have it be permitted.
And if I have any work that I can roll the dice and not pull the permits, I just do it because I'm not going to let it go.
They were recording this, right?
Yeah, I don't care.
Well, it's even crazier because I'm way out there.
Yes.
I'm 25 minutes off road. There's nothing there.
You're bouncing the whole way to your place?
Yeah.
It's dirt road?
Yeah.
That's exciting.
So it's like you're not coming across me by accident. So it's like the idea that the whole thing actually is permitted, is inspected, is, I guess good for me, but I'm not sure if I needed to.
How did you talk the girlfriend into that type of lifestyle?
She's the right one. She's a sex toy designer. You'd probably like talking to her.
Well, I don't know. I feel like she's a people person. How does she don't want to be that far off the grid.
This is an interesting one. We're both extreme introverts. We're not shy, but we're just we want our peace and quiet. We want to make crazy art in the middle of the desert and just have it be quiet.
When you say tiny, what's your square footage going to end up being?
So the tiny home is really tiny. It's 300 square feet tiny, tiny. We're building a workshop also that's 2,000 square feet, which is pretty big for the middle of nowhere. And people look at the plans and think we mislabeled them. And we're no. It's a bed and a kitchenette and a bathroom and then a much bigger workshop.
Is the bed a loft or no?
No.
Good.
It's going to be a Murphy bed, though. So in the future, we can just leave it up and have it be a painting studio or whatever.
I don't like that.
Okay.
I don't like
Well, you're not invited then.
Well, I don't want to sleep there is what I'm saying.
Okay.
How close to finished are you?
Oh, I'd forever. The tiny home is dried in. The inside's not done, but it's dried in. The outside's completely done. It looks done, but you go inside there and it's there's no drywall and stuff like that. The workshop is almost dried in, so at least there's a roof and most of the walls, not all the windows, and then there's nothing in there either. But it's getting there.
Record high heat that you worked in this summer.
You know, the fun thing is, so I live basically in Palm Springs, really hot there. It's like 120 something in the summer, the peak. But this property is at elevation, so the hottest it gets there really ever is like 102 or something. It's not that bad. It's very dry. There's a breeze. If you're in the shade, it's not so bad.
Do you like mist? You're going to put misters around your outside of your house?
Okay, so there's like an interesting tangent here to Burning Man that I don't know if you made a connection to. They're always walking around people with misting bottles because they think it's like a nice, like, oh, enjoy.
Yes.
It's like, please don't spray me.
You don't like being misted?
If I'm already hot, I'm okay with it. If you then make me freezing for 5 seconds, that does not improve the quality of my life.
Are you Latino at all?
No.
Okay. I didn't know.
Is there a connection between like being like 5 seconds of being freezing Latino?
Every one of my Cuban friends from Miami fucking just gets freezing cold at the drop of a hat. like it takes no time at all for them to complain. Like, can you turn the fan off? I'm like, all right, geez. Anyway, everybody who's on my show, I give them stuff, a gift for being on my show, but it's just stuff around my house that I get rid of. So I have a few things for you. One, because you're always complaining about dust, and you have a tiny house, I just thought... Nice little handy vac to clean up around. I have a couple of these, so I don't need that.
This is amazing. I appreciate this.
Yeah, you'll like that. Then I want you to have this because anybody who's from Florida needs a pelican somewhere in their life.
Oh, I love this.
Yeah, and it's metal. It was given to me because I'm from Florida, but I have a lot of pelicans already in my
Yeah,
home.
it's like a plasma cut pelican.
Yeah.
Who would not like this?
I got you just zinc oxide.
Some sunscreen? Yeah.
I don't do sunscreen. I just buy zinc oxide. Huh. You know, it's cheaper than sunscreen, but it's better.
Love it.
So
Love it.
I got you this because I don't know why I have it, but I don't need. It's never been used.
So it's not full of fuel right now.
No, it's not. It's never been used. But I don't know why I have these. I don't have anything that takes gas.
I have generators and all sorts of stuff that needs this.
Right. So that's
great.
That's for you. This, I don't know what it is. It was in my closet when they built they're filters.
You're basically, can you identify the object I'm handing you?
Tell me what this is and why and what can you do with it? I have no idea what that is and why it's in my house.
Yeah, it's a film. It's like a metallized acetate, but I don't know. It's flame resistant, which is surprising. It's a filter. Okay.
Do you need that?
I'm not exactly sure what it is.
Yeah, I thought you would figure that out for me.
Oh, it's a Panavision company, so it's definitely for like some sort of production.
Whatever. I certainly don't need it. It's been in my
Love it.
It's my closet.
Love it.
I'm just excited that I was worried that you weren't going to like the pelican.
The pelican's probably my favorite.
Well, good. That's because it's a touch of Florida. I know you say you wanted to get out of Florida, just like I did.
I think
I needed to get out of
Florida is the right amount of Florida.
You have. We still have that Florida.
A touch might even be a little bit much. I need just like a mist of Florida.
How would you say that Burning Man has changed over the past decade?
I mean, so I've been going. It's great. I've been going for 18 years, over a period of 18 years. I've been 13 times.
Arguably too long.
Not arguably. Definitively too long. It's too long for anybody. But it is interesting because that means I saw before social media was really a thing, and almost just as importantly, before easy smartphones and digital cameras were a thing. So I know it's the old person talking, but it was nice to go back in the day when there wasn't a camera anywhere in sight about it. There was no GoPro. There was nobody was holding a phone up for anything. So you could just literally do what you wanted, wear what you wanted, act however you wanted, and you could really have it be a whole different place. Now, for sure, someone's recording kind of everything that's happening.
Do you know what your next big art project is going to be?
We are already working on something. We've made the same mistake several times in a row, which is we build a thing that has to be assembled completely and can't be shown in a smaller or a different fashion. So we're working on like a smaller origami kind of module that will show at Burning Man hopefully next year. And then hopefully we'll be able to reconfigure it. So if a museum wants a different scale of it, we can reconfigure
What about
it.
just some rich jerk that just wants to buy a chunk of it? Can they reach out to you and say...
They can reach out.
Put an offer in?
They can reach out, but we typically don't. We've done one commission project, but typically we just build what we think will be delightful. Like there's this beautiful bear that was at Burning Man, 5 years ago. And it was made out of pennies. It's like a huge 20-foot.
I know. It's in Tahoe right now.
Yeah, the Ursa Major.
It's 250 3,000 pennies.
See, there you go. Made by the Fergusons, I think.
Mhm. And it's supposed to be just on loan in Tahoe City currently.
You know this. And it's beautiful, right? Because the pennies are like put on edge, so it looks like fur. They're not just put flat. So that was a Burning Man project. And
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And so it was at the Smithsonian showing of some Burning Man art along with our project. And I overheard someone asking one of the artists, is it a statement about nature and commercialism and us ruining nature and all this stuff? And one of them said, like, I just wanted to build a bear out of some pennies. And like, that's kind of how we feel about our thing. Like we have a sense of what's compelling and delightful for people. And so that's our guiding light. We just want to make something where people show up young and old and they're like, they giggle, they laugh, they're surprised. So that's our goal.
I love that penny bear thing, but let me tell you how many times I've had to yell at kids that try to pry pennies out of it.
Yeah.
And they successfully do it sometimes.
Yeah, it's a bummer.
And I'm like, hey, kids, knock it off. That's not what art is for.
That's a bummer.
But they're just like, we get a penny.
That's the weird thing. Like, yeah, Burning Man, someone might try to climb stuff, but what I've actually discovered is people treat all of that stuff better generally at Burning Man than they have in almost any other place that we put our stuff. It's really interesting. Like, there's an understanding that you're in this huge gallery and people contributed this thing. And yeah, if you put something in a park or whatever, people, because they kind of didn't buy into there being art there, they feel like they kind of don't have any relationship to it, I think.
So you're not going to tell me what this next big project is?
No, it's still taking shape.
You want me to my help on the build?
Yes.
days?
Well, I mean, seriously, it's all help.
I don't actually want to physically help. I'd like to more just like from afar chime in.
You can say you support us.
All right, fine. I'll support you. All right, Jesse. Thank you for being on the show.
Pleasure. Thank you.
You're strong. You get manicures?
No, I just bite them constantly.
Do you?
Yeah.
I don't bite, and I don't get manicures. Anyway. Tosh Show. Oh, I want to thank Jesse for being on the show, and I can't wait to get out to Burning Man. Carl, you ever been to Burning Man? You look like you're at Burning Man right now on some drug, some ecstasy or something. We got big news. A celebration is in order. You guys ready for this?
Oh, yeah.
We hit 500 million subscribers.
Oh, I think it's 500,000.
500,000 subscribers. That's not nothing on YouTube. Okay? That's not nothing, Carl. That's not nothing. We have 500,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel. We started this channel a mere 10 months ago. And now look at us. A force to be reckoned with. An influencer. A trendsetter. Does anyone on YouTube have more subscribers than us?
I haven't seen it.
The most subscribed YouTube channel. Wow, we did it. All right. Let's do our regular plugs. Okay, boyswearpink.com, eddie.gosling.com. Check out his tour dates. Check out our tour dates. Go see us do stand-up comedy. Meet us, hang out with us, fellowship. Okay, now it's time for our free plug. This one, near and dear to my heart. I'm going to give a free plug to Folks Point Breadworks out of Santa Clarita, California. Now, I saw them at the farmer's market the past few weeks, and I got some of their bread, some focaccia bread. And I'm going to tell you right now, some of the best focaccia bread I've ever had. The other day, I got two different types of focaccia breads, and I'm walking away from their stand at the farmer's market, and then one of the ladies, I don't know if it was an owner, but she comes running up to me. She goes, "I'm sorry, I gave you the wrong bread. Here, here's the right one." I'm like, well, you can take the wrong one that you gave me. She goes, no, just try them all. I'm like, lovely. What else did I get there? They do a banana bread, a banana chocolate chip bread that's just heavenly. They put applesauce in it. That's what makes it so moist. They also did a chocolate chip bread that I got, and then a pumpkin bread. I don't eat the pumpkin bread, but we give it to the kids and pretend that's a snack. Now, I want to point out that the reason I stopped was because their signage. I appreciated their signage. I thought, oh, look at this. This looks really nice. Then their packaging was amazing. They also had a sign that said, women-owned business. And I'm like, well, women don't know baking. But I still gave it a shot, and I was blown away. By the way, this podcast also woman-owned and women ran. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yep.
All women run this podcast. If it wasn't for women, this podcast wouldn't exist. They also did a homemade Pop-Tart. Yeah, that wasn't my favorite. But that shouldn't be for me. I'm still a Pop-Tarts guy. You give me a brown sugar Pop-Tart, and I like to microwave it for 10 seconds before I toast it for 30 seconds, and just, oh, that's a good time right there. That's a good time. What do you think, Carl? Do you like it? I don't think you've had their bread. Sometimes when we get back from the farmer's market, my wife will forget to put things on the highest shelf, and Carl will just take care of that within seconds. And then she gets so mad. But she only has herself to get mad at. You don't put them on the lower counter. We all know that. She wants a dog that can just resist temptation. I'm like, well, you'd be a horrible sponsor at AA. I put the alcohol on a high shelf. They shouldn't be able to reach it. Anyway, I'll see you next week.